One second.
Ashwin,
Yes.
this is going to be is this an open kind of forum, or is it for the limited, for the group, a discussion only for a group?
Uh, Sorry. Like
Did you advertise this program for outside IIT Madras students or for other IIT Madras students, or is it for a group? That that is what I want.
mostly IIT Madras students, but like some people outside might
Okay.
also be
Okay.
accessing. So, uh, like, good evening, everyone. Um, today, we have like we are gathered here for the online panel discussion on higher education, affordability and accessibility in view of the fee hikes and paper leaks. The like for those of you who are not aware, the like Jindabar is an independent student body in IIT Madras. We like work to create a discussion on socio-political issues among the students in the campus and build a democratic space inside the campus while also trying to address student issues. So, for the talk, we are joined by Dr. Abha Habib, who is an associate professor at Miranda House College, Delhi University. She is also a former member of the executive council of the Delhi University and a leader of the teachers movement, or the Democratic Teachers Front. Also, another member of our panel, Aishe Ghosh. She is a she is not yet able to join, but she'll join later. So she is a student activist, a former president of the JNUSU, and a central secretariat member of the Students Federation of India. So, we are organizing this discussion in a particular context of in the last week there have been multiple news about the cancellation of the NEET exam, the UGC net, the post allegations of paper leaks, and all these things need other exams, CSIR net, everything has been stand cancelled now. This shows the inefficiencies of the centralization of the test. Also, we had decided for such a talk, like that our discussions was going on for like last the 2 weeks, because other context is that the fees in our higher education institutions are being increased. In our campus also, we have seen a massive increase in the MTech and PhD fees. Likewise, other IITs and other institutes have increased the fees in their recent years. This is a growing tendency. So it is in this context that we are organizing this discussion, and there is constant suppression of dissent in campuses, like suspension of students, student unions, and against teachers also there has been attacks in the TIS, where large number of faculty have been dismissed. So it is in this context that we are organizing this discussion, and we have two speakers, one who is organizing the teachers and another who is organizing the students. So over to you, Professor.
Thank you, Ashwin Dev, and I thank Chinta Bar. And I just wanted to understand. I'm very happy that IIT Madras has a study circle or a group of students who is trying to organize and think beyond what is their immediate things. Is this has any link with the Ambedkar Pariya study circle on which there was an attack by the ministry when people were trying to sit, or this is a different um, society?
Like, I mean, we are a different organization, but like we used to work closely with the Ambedkar Peria
Okay.
students.
So just wanted to understand the history, just because as you said that campuses today, there is no freedom of speech. I mean, there is a huge attack on the democratic rights of the students and teachers, and it comes from the same understanding as you see that how contractualization has become rampant. A government which and the BJP, which is a nationalist government, and which touted soldiers and glorified all of this so much. In every of their dialogue, there was this soldier who is sacrificing for the country. The government has pulled the rug, the carpet or the zameen from their ground, I mean, under their feet. So you see how that has been contractualized, how Agniveer was brought in. So we are looking at a system where they do not want any kind of unionism. And the attack on the education system is such, both in terms of employees' right and also in terms of rights of the students, what the institutions should be doing, that they do not want union. So we looked at how there was an attack when a group of students wanted to form IIT Madras, in IIT Madras Ambedkar Career Study Circle, and that was, we all read about it. So I just wanted to know. I congratulate you that you people are working, you are organizing debates and discussions to understand where we are going. See, India Today published a report according to which in the last 7 years has been, the integrity of over 70 exams has been compromised in 15 different states, affecting 1.7 crore students. All of this has come forth. A large study has been produced, and I congratulate people who are working on it. That after the collapse of NEET exam, which affected 24 lakh students, and within a week's time, UGC NET exam failed, and which also affected close to 9 lakh students, that this whole thing on NTA came into the foreground, and people started writing about all of this. And we need to understand today what is happening to us. So higher education has to be looked at. See, we all do school education, but it is only through higher education that we move in different section. There is a stratification in the society, and how do we move? Are we able to cross our class barrier and move into another class? Do we have any opportunity to also get a job which is white collar job? All of this comes after higher education. So higher education is very, very fundamental for dignity of life and all of this. And if you remember, I mean, we all know this, that in the constitution, higher education as such, including higher education, has been seen as a public good, which means that this country should invest in education. And investment in education, though it doesn't seem that something is coming out of it right away, it is not like an industry where you can see the profit and all of this right away. But the thing is that by investing in education, the country is one, bringing many more people to the mainstream. Also, it is related to the upward mobility of an individual and strengthening of the democracy of the country, because you are bringing people to the mainstream. However, since UPA 2's time, much more aggressive now under Modi, the whole attempt is that to make this higher education, where you will see that parents want to invest, they will do anything, they will take loans, they will mortgage their properties so that the children get educated to a certain level, so that they have respectable job, especially because the middle class has grown. The idea of respectability and getting a certain kind of job is there. The investment in education has gone up by the families, and this government and everybody knows. And in order to convert higher education into market, all your policies are tilted towards that. Now when we are talking about paper leak, Basically, we are looking at centralized examination system. You know, it is very interesting. NEP 2020, various drafts of national education policy were brought after Modi government came in 2013. There was an attempt in 2016. It was a committee brought inputs into a national education policy. Then in 2019 we had draft education national education policy. But when is it that the government passed NEP? When in 2020 everybody for the first time the COVID wave was there, we had not seen something like this. We were facing something, you know, what is like once in a century kind of situation. And when schools and colleges were all shut, the government through cabinet note passed NAP document, which is a 61, 62 page document, while schools and colleges and universities were all shut. The government did it so quickly and in this manner because it knew that people have been all along opposing NEP. And while NEP, for example, says that they want to decrease coaching industry, we need to investigate what they have done to actually increase the coaching industry. Okay, so when you look at expenses towards education, and most of you, Ashwin, are you all engineering students or are you from also from pure sciences? Acha, so predominantly here in this group, it is science departments and this. So now that you are interacting with also engineering students who have engineering as their major, you can understand the kind of lives they have lived, because the whole one the society is all about. For example, for science students, it is medicine or engineering. So the coaching starts very early on, and in higher education you will see that what government did it. So in every school, if you will look at, one third students used to be science students, but not more than that. But the industry is such, one, it gains from having same packet being sold to many, instead of having different exams set by different agencies or different institutes, because then a student will choose which exams to take, and each exam has its own nuances, and therefore the coaching industry for that exam will be smaller. So you will see there are two or three kinds of shifts since 2013, and there is data available on NEET, how it moved from, there used to be an all India exam done by CBSE for medicine. Apart from that, state governments used to hold exams or have their own admission policy for medical colleges. Okay. In 2013, and therefore I said UPA 2, the slogan was given one nation, one examination for in 2012. And this slogan was given one examination and one examination. And the Medical Council of India, um, they did one exam saying that all seats, medical seats will be filled by one exam only, and to which there were many cases filed, including Tamil Nadu government and Andhra Pradesh. And as a result, Supreme Court said no, this cannot happen because education is in the concurrent list. Therefore, you cannot do this, and it was set aside. But it resurfaced in 2016, the NEET exam, and then the Supreme Court, in some sense, the judgment changed, and the government went ahead with the NEET exam, giving only for a year freedom to states to organize their own thing, but to coming back to the NEET exam next year onwards. And NTA was set in 2017. Since then, we will see that from all other organizations, agencies, exams were taken in and given to NTA. Now, what happens when, for example, Delhi University used to have some departments used to take students through their own exams, say English department, journalism, but these are small exams, okay? And it is not in the interest of the coaching centers to prepare students, because the target student, the numbers will be very small. So, and the students may think that they can prepare on their own. or there will be a difference between one exam to another university exam, and so on and so forth. So what they wanted was a bigger industry market for themselves. So what happened, that in 2020, while students were writing their in March, while students were writing their board exams, thinking that it is through the board exam university admissions will happen, that SUET was announced. Now, this is what I'm saying, that what happened is that each university had their own admission policy and were looking at class 12th. However, all that was scrapped for central universities for sure, and other state universities were also told that they can join SUET. And this basically, for GE and NEET, science students were already in the clutches of the coaching mafia. And through SUET, you force the humanities, social science students also to go towards um, coaching. Now, in doing that, there was a lot of opposition, because again, this was happening to the COVID students. They did not know that there will be an entrance exam for the admissions in university, so it was not okay. Principals and teachers said that, if you are going to do this, it will erode class 12 completely. Many of you may be from science background and you may have tried to do engineering as your first choice. You all know that the focus is not in school, and there are many schools which are like fake schools where students get enrolled but they are in quota doing the coaching. Okay, so humanities, social science teachers, and even science teachers said, please do not do this. Students will never come to school, they will not go to the labs, they will not learn, they will only believe that it is important to crack 40 MCQs to get into the next level. It will erode class 11th and 12th completely. This will give a big fillip to the coaching centers. Also, that it is against the spirit of the constitution, which believes in the federal structure, and education is on the concurrent list. By saying that for the central universities and other universities, you will have CBSE based examination. This means that state boards, you are downgrading state boards, you are damaging their importance. And however, the central government did not hear, and we had SUET. So what happened after SUET came in? So that helped the coaching center, because all these markets which are commercial units, there is a saturation point, and then you have to break that saturation point. So for example, it is a very interesting data. This is from the print article which was published in 22. It said that the coaching industry is of the worth of 58,000 crore. Okay, this was data was collected by, or published by, a private firm from Pune. But before that, in 2015, Education Ministry had also printed some data on the coaching industry, and they had said 24,000 crore. So between 2015 and, if you believe in the data published by the consultant firm by Pune, it had become 58,000 crore. And the projection for 2028 is 1 lakh, over 1 lakh crore industry. Now, why this is happening? So, studies show that one big boom came uh, because of the COVID. And you will remember, and you can search how Byju's gained, how that industry grew overnight because of the COVID situation. Okay, they grew, they offered all kinds of modules and this and that, and they grew. And actually, the study says that because of the coaching, many more students were forced to join, coaching industry. And now the policy tilt is such that, for example, I will tell you, one is SUET, and what has happened in NEET. NEET exam earlier, and even now, 24, for example, how many people appeared in the 24 lakh students appeared for the NEET exam. Okay, for how many seats? 1 lakh seats. Only 1 lakh seats. Okay, in this 1 lakh seats, 50,000 are with the government. Um, uh, with government colleges and all, and other 50,000 is with the private. Okay. Now, in this, most of it is in the states. Okay. Now, in state colleges also, 15% quota is for the all India. Now, for the all India, CBSE used to do something, but the state was also free to enroll. For example, in Tamil Nadu, the enrollment was on the basis of class 12th exam. There was no exam. Other states used to hold their own exam. Now, this is not okay for the mafia, coaching mafia. So what will they want? They will want that if you say that 1 lakh is now in your pocket, every student is told that they can be now absorbed, if not in their state, they can get into that 15% through this. And through this only, the other 85% will be also taken. Then the student will be forced to join a coaching of a particular kind, and the same module can be fed to all students. Therefore, less work for the coaching center, but more market. Okay, and that policy change, you see how it has must have added to the coaching industry. Similarly, the decision on SUET. In SUET, lakhs of students, 20, close to 14 lakh, 15 lakh are appearing for SUET. For how many seats in central universities? Primarily, it started with the central universities. 1.5 lakh seats, out of which 70,000 are in DU only. So very small, other universities are very, very small. So what they have done is that because a student would think that now Central University is only through this and not through my exam, my performance in class 12, they are forced to join the coaching, which will teach them how to crack those MCQs. So you see the whole policy is such that it is shifting students towards the coaching industry. And while on paper, NEP can say that coaching is not should be we should it is about rote learning. We have to decrease coaching culture, but that is not going to happen because the policy is such that it is forcing. So one is the policy is that centralization of examination, trying to show project a seat which the student actually doesn't have, the opportunity which the student doesn't have. And one more important thing, why coaching, why paper leak, is because of the gap between the demand and the opportunity which is there. For example, 24 lakhs candidates took NEET exam for over 1 lakh MBBS seats. If you will make a ratio, only 0.04% student can ever be part of MBBS. Zero, not even 1%. So 99% से आपने एडमिशन फीस एग्जाम फीस ले लिया, उसे कोचिंग ने भेज दिया, but there is no opportunity for the student to actually ever become a doctor through NEET exam. Similarly, the UGC NET exam, you know that it was conducted, and Jagdish Kumar congratulated NTA for conducting it successfully. By morning, NTA had said, sorry, the exam got compromised. 11 lakh students had registered. Only 9 lakh appeared. So there is a gap of 2 lakh, but all the 2 lakh paid for the fees for this exam. So that is also NTA has been earning. So the government itself has brought a agency and a way of earning from the students without providing them opportunity, actual opportunity. Okay, so this has to be remembered as part of the policy, that how the gap is being used. Okay, so 11 lakh students registered for UGC NET exam, 9 lakh appeared for how many seats? 4,000 UGC CISR fellowship JRFs and an equal number of lectureship. If you will try to find the ratio of successful candidates, it comes out to be less than 0.001. The answer is that it is less than 0.01. It is less than 0.01. It comes out to be 0.008. So you look at the gap, you look at the desperation. That desperation pushes students to the coaching because they have to compete with the others, because it is going to be a relative thing. The other thing is this also gives rise to the paper leak industry. Paper leak industry has to be thought of as an industry. This is a NEET exam leak or the NET exam compromised integrity. Compromised is not in one of one chance in so many exams happening. Just as I started with the thing, there was an article recently in India Today which said that in last 7 years, the integrity of over 70 exam has been compromised, affecting 1.7 crore students. Okay, and this, in some sense, when all this was happening one after another, I also felt that maybe this is an advertisement for the paper leak industry, because now, if you look at, I don't know whether many of you know this or not. Today, it can take few lakhs to be a doctor if you get into a government college, or it can take up to 2 crore. If it can take up to 2 crore, then one would pay for a paper leak. So maybe this one leak after another is actually an advertisement to tell people that there is a whole industry sitting there, and you can invest in that industry to then get a government college, or get relief, get a buyer seat like that also. Okay, and why I'm saying is that, for example, abhi jo Bihar mein there was a constable. Again, I want to show the numbers. In Bihar, there has been a paper leak for constable exam. Okay, so just to become constable, how many people took that exam? 1.8 million, which is like 18 lakhs. Close to 18 lakhs took an exam. For how many seats? 21,391 vacancies. What is the ratio? How many success will be there? 0.011. Okay. And then we had, there is a very interesting article by The Wire, investigative study, which said that there is some company called EduTest. Okay, it is a Gujarat-based company, and it was blacklisted by UP, and the owners of EduTest are BJP people. Okay, higher ups in BJP circles, and they were still blacklisted by UP government, because in the constable exam held in February 2020, where 43 lakh people candidates appeared against 63,000 post vacancies, this edu test was found as the paper leak, responsible for paper leak. Yet, again and again, this company is being given the contract. You have to understand, NTA is less than 25 employees. So this is a thing of sublet, and therefore there it is easy for the industry to come in because of the policy, and because NTA is not even answerable to the parliament. It has not been created through the act of the parliament, and it is just registered under a society. However, it collects crores of money. You just imagine the kind of money they are collecting, because it is like 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 fees for taking an exam, and that is the money which the government is taking away from its students without providing them the opportunity, a real opportunity, to be part of the education system. So you see that all of this is connected, and we need to really look at that how this has affected the accessibility of school, of accessibility and affordability of education system. When Suet happened, Tamil Nadu government again said, and on the NEET, there is a Madras High Court judgment which said that centralized examinations like NEET have pushed the admission in the pockets of urban rich. And this is confirmed by what happened to Delhi University, which is one of the premier, much sorted after universities, central universities. All central universities are not equally popular, and as a result, many cater to their local populations much more. But Central University, Delhi University, is a central university where students from across the country come. That shows, failing systems in various parts. But anyway, so they come. Okay, now, and we had very heterogeneous group, and students coming from state boards. Yes, they had different backgrounds. They came from different backgrounds, educational backgrounds. They had disadvantages of different kind, and we were catering to a very heterogeneous group. After SUET was implemented in 2022, studies have shown that one seats are remaining vacant. In a university where cutoffs used to go to 100%, and that is another kind of mafia, that's another kind of situation where education system starts failing. You will see more and more marks are given to students to buy peace. Okay, so that is another thing, I will not go into it. But there was no way in which Delhi University seats used to go vacant. Now what is happening is that one, our admissions only after NTA will announce the SUET result, that we all central universities admissions have been put on hold. In fact, it has affected close to 200 universities in total. This means many states, and I'm sure wherever BJP is there, they have agreed to take SUET results to fill their seats. But there are only 55, close to 55 central universities. IGNO, which is a online, sorry, not online, is an open university. They are exempted from SUET, okay, because there is no competition. So you understand it is not beneficial. So whereas they take the largest number of students, they are free students. Anybody can enroll, and which is good. But I'm telling you about Delhi University, seats are lying vacant. The other thing which has happened is that number of women has decreased. Number of women has decreased, heterogeneity has decreased. Anybody who looks like coming from Tamil Nadu or Kerala, when we ask them, they tell that their parents are from Delhi, that they have been brought up in Delhi. That the number of students taking the exam and coming to Delhi has reduced. It has reduced the heterogeneity. So why? Because this is exactly what Madras High Court judgment was saying, that it has pushed the exams in the pockets of urban rich. Earlier, it is only when the board results came, a state board result came, a girl, I will say girl because how the society is still the privileges are different. So only when a girl has got good marks that the family may consider sending her to Delhi. There is an additional cost which is like staying in Delhi, but they still want to invest money. But now what will happen is that parents will think that you will have to do coaching to just get into a university. Then you will do coaching to become a constable. Then you will do coaching for. So there is no need to do this. So you go to the opportunity which is available on the basis of the state board. As a result, the number of female students, even in the co-ed colleges, decreased. And many seats are remaining vacant. So why that? You see, right now, entrance into all the central universities and many other state universities or universities has been put on hold. There is another state university, Ambedkar University, which is well known in Delhi. So all this has been put on hold, whereas the private is free to take their admissions, and private is about to finish their admissions. As a result, many students will never come back and join a central university. So this is a much thought of planning, much efforts have gone to break the backbone of this country. And the backbone of this country is the state funded, public funded universities. It is to break them. And also there has to be, now you will see that it is because the government actually wants to keep that distance between amount of opportunity available and how many can really get it and what is the population. It is the gap which is pushing the people to go, their nervousness is pushing them to go to the coaching centers, and the coaching centers want more uniform exams, a centralized big exam on which your life uh, is which is holding key to your life, you think. Otherwise, when I was taking medical exams, as I said, all science students are forced to take either medical or engineering or both. Okay. When I was taking medical exam, there used to be state-run exams for the state colleges and a centralized exam, one all India exam for the 15% quota of the all India quota. It's perfectly fine. A student can take 2 or 3 exams. Why should there be one exam? That one exam actually increases your nervousness. And actually, if you ask me as a teacher and as a student, you may also feel that it is unacademic. You are asking a person to perform well on one particular day in those few hours, and if you cannot perform, your life feels shattered. And we have seen how students are committing suicide because they were not able to, make their parents proud, or they were not able to return the worth of the investment. Now we need to understand what this is doing to us. I have already established, and you all understand this, you are very aware, citizens and students, that this is meaning that because this whole centralized examination, the coaching required for it, the parent is spending on the school, the parent is also spending on the coaching, is making education unavailable for many. And if you are science students or have been science students, you can see that the number of students coming from disadvantages background is very few in sciences. If you will look at number of PWD category students, physically challenged students, they are very, very few. They are not there because more the manner in which science is done in this country, it is very, very exclusionary. Unless you have an environment at a home which provides, focus on the student, there is an environment which allows students to study and which can afford coaching, which can afford this and that. Unless that happens, there is no way in which you can afford to do science. Parents are not only spending on coaching, they are also forcing their wards to live in, say, quota. So there is an additional expenditure on sending your child outside to be part of the coaching. So what is happening? You are, if you have read in Delhi University, they were trying to push Manusmriti in law faculty course. They had to withdraw because of the opposition, and now I think because there is a sizable opposition in the parliament, this thing came from the top that you remove Manusmriti. Don't get into this. We will not be able to handle it in the parliament. I think that was the indication from the top. But you are implementing Manusmriti through education policies. So what I have told about Suet, number of women has decreased. Otherwise, we were very happy to get women from Rajasthan, from UP, and all of this. They are going to their school, local schools. They cannot compete in Suet. They will not take Suet. They will believe that it is fine to go to the nearest state university and that is it, and then think about coaching for their next job kind of situation. So it is taking away, forcing many people to understand that they are not even fit to compete for a better life. They cannot dream, so they are taking away the dream. On the other hand, those who can slightly afford, their dreams are being cashed, and any money which parents can give for the coaching, for all this mafia, they are being money is being sucked from them. And I think this leak is actually an advertisement to say that this industry exists and you can invest in it. We have to understand what all this is going to do. You talked about fee hike in Madras. If you will look at the education policy, fee hike is built into it. If you will look at right now, what is happening is that any infrastructure loan, infrastructure need has to come by taking loan, institutional loan. So grants have been shifted to HIFA loan. And it is very interesting, and you should read on HIFA website. The example is of an IIT because IIT sells no. So IIT is a good way to advertise that IIT can do this. They say, okay, you need 200 crore to set a lab, take money from HIFA, you can return it back by paying the loan through student fee. This is what is happening to all central university. JNU under Jagdish Kumar took loan of worth 500 crore, more than 500 crore, 550 crore, and all of this you can Google and see. Um, Delhi University has applied for close to, they had right away asked for 2000 crore. They said no, more than 1000 crore, you will have to go through the parliament. So 1000 crore se kam kar do. So close to 1000 crore they are asked. Now, I will also give you another data to understand what is happening. Shivnada University, which is a private university nearby, and while it was being, because many friends are there, it is a private university, but one was asking how much crore it took to settle, make a university. A new campus is made in 550 crore. It is a very lavish campus. So a new university is made in 550 crore. A university or an institution where 90% infrastructure already exists and you just want to expand it for future courses or something, you are taking 500 crores. JNU has taken 500 crores. DU has taken 1,000 crore. All this public money will be then siphoned into private pockets through corruption, and the students are going to pay fee. And you should understand why unionism of teachers and students is being attacked, because you are going to ask for fundamental rights, and which is right to education, that it is for the government to provide that, but the fees is increasing and making it difficult for many to even dream of joining the applying and coming to the institutions. In JNU, if MBA, for an MBA you need 13 lakh, this also means the private is going to scale up. You have to see how it is a whole food chain, and what will affect the health of the public funded, the private is going to make benefit of it. Same thing is with a public funded universities breaking, 4-year undergraduate program has been implemented, forced on central universities without funding for the extra year. Now you take HIFA loans. So either we take HIFA loans, but nothing for the teachers. So for teachers, it is self-financing courses. Only give self-financing courses so that the salaries of the teachers can come from the student fee. The moment salaries will come from the student fee, one, higher education will become beyond the pocket of the ordinary people. The other thing is contractualization of job otherwise will mean that the teachers are available for smaller amounts, 20,000, 30,000, and this means that we are going to lose talent. We will not get students to join education industry. So it has a huge ramification. And one more ramification which I want you to understand is what happens when there is a steep commercialization. I just want to this whole thing on dowry and all. We did not. There was a whole movement against dowry, but if a parent is going to look at investment in a child as a business, if the parent is going to spend 2 crores in getting a child become a doctor, then we will not be able to fight the other social deformities which were present. And that is why you see engineers, medical students taking dowry. You see that civil servants taking dowry, because coaching coaching in all of this the family has invested, and they would rather want to take it back by any means. So there is a larger ramification. You will see how hospitals are being governed. Our management runs the hospital. I'm a teacher activist. I campaign in various pockets, and we had gone to MAMC, Maulana Azad Medical College, and there a doctor said that there was a patient who came, and he said that he went from one knee replacement to another knee replacement, and after two knee replacements, he's not fine. He's not able to walk and all. The doctor said, "Why don't you get all your X-rays? Okay, and I want to see the history." And it turns out that he did not require knee replacement, he required hip replacement. Now this is the situation. And if you had any surgery, I don't know, I just am coming out of 2 months back I had a surgery. If there is no new patient for a surgery, the doctors will want you to stay on in a room for another day. The moment there is another patient for the surgery, they move you out. It is MBS who are deciding how the medicine sector will work. So the human aspect, the humanitarian aspect of the whole thing, or the purpose of education, the purpose of all this, finally how we build a society, is all crashing. Another thing with the paper leak, I will say, and then I will end, that if we are going into the paper leak industry, There will be many more, and nobody is able to say that I also gave 10 lakhs, but I could not get the paper. Nobody will be able to report this. So the industry is going to be worth many crores. And why I'm saying this, that this is an industry, because this we are seeing in the present day recruitment in Delhi University. Openly, in some sense, it was declared all seats to the BJP and RSS and through certain channels. And as a result, we started hearing 40 lakh, 30 lakh for one seat. Okay. And we then heard stories where people paid but never got any lectureship post. And nobody was able to file any report because this is an industry which can take your money and not give you back, and you are not able to say anything, because otherwise it is actually a there will be an action on you on and everybody. So nobody is saying what they have paid. Nobody could say that they paid but never got it. So this is an industry. Now, I think that we are into making of a new kind of society, and I will end with that. It is very dark times ahead. In that sense, we want corruption of each and everyone. Okay. For example, you all of you are very young, and you must have been in the sense that you faced COVID times, and you saw how students did not work for the exam, but they all passed. In the whole country, where there was no education, where the schools could not provide any laptop, internet to the teachers. Students did not have. Metropolitan cities are very few, very small percentage of total students going for education sector. Such handful had something, others did not have, but everybody had 10 CGPA. Everybody got good marks. Everybody passed one class after another. If everybody is corrupt to a particular level, then we will not mind the corruption which is actually happening at the helm of the country. We will only think those people as smart people because they were as corrupt as they could be, and you were as corrupt as you could be. So paper leak is also a way of generating a industry, of course, but also a society. And it is a very scary thing where integrity does not matter. A society where integrity of organizations, integrity of individuals do not matter, that people think that it is fine to do whatever to get whatever. If we are making that society, then along with paper leak, there was airports are leaking, your trains are leaking, your bridges before their inaugurations are found in some other state, and all of this will happen, that you will get empty oxygen cylinders when you need it, even when you were buying in black. Okay, so all of that will happen because integrity has been thrown out of the whole thing. Whereas when we were making the country, and this is also very interesting, and therefore I'm saying I like to understand it also in terms of movies. You had movies like Do Aankhein Bara Haath. Okay, you had movies where the hero was just a common worker, a mazdoor, making a bridge. He was a labor class person making a bridge, but thinking in big way of making the country. How that bridge was like making the country, where he was investing in that. And integrity was such an important thing. If the integrity is not important for individuals and for the institutions, we are looking at a very difficult time, and also difficult because the gap which is by the policy, the gap between how many seats we need actually and how many are taking those exams, all these gaps. If we are not going to think innovatively about it, if we do not invest money, and investment in higher education is going down by the day, by the year, if we do not bridge that gap, we are looking at very dark days, because we are a young country where 50% population is below the age of 24, 26. By the time you people have invested time in IITs and maybe done a postdoc or PhDs and postdocs, everything will be on contractual basis. So best of the people who can escape the country will escape the country. Others will be very unhappy citizens. So we need right now coming together of movements and asking for the rights of the employees, and it is only in the rights of the employees that permanent appointments, pension, and all of this ensured a government which has taken away even pakka naukri from a soldier is not going to otherwise provide to anybody. So it is everything is part of a larger thing which is happening to us, and we need to be aware of it and see how we can come together to fight for the rights of the students. Parents should also fight for the students instead of mortgaging, instead of trying to buy a paper, investing 20 lakhs in a paper rather than 2 crores, otherwise they will have to pay for the medicine. All of this we have to have larger discussions at home, everywhere, so that we can try to force a new, the I mean this new India which has been forced on us in last 10 years. We have to fight back, and we have to bring a India which is for many more. Thank you everyone for listening, patiently listening. If you have questions, we can discuss. Yeah, in the online thing, it is not clear whether there are any audiences, real audience. Huh? But I've been trying to write an article for this whole paper scam and all, and more you try to find, get deeper into the thing, more difficult it becomes to comprehend the depth of the whole thing. It is very, very scary business. Anybody wants to comment? Not a question, but what is your own personal experience of being a science student? I've been a science student, so one can just discuss what is your experience of being a science student and how science is done in the country, or what are you finding in IITs? It is very interesting that the competition for engineering is not so much, because there are 24, 25 lakh seats for engineering in the country. Very few with the government agencies, but there is a large number. And actually, the admission enrollment in engineering has been decreasing, resulting in closure of many engineering colleges. So there is a big difference between medical and this. Setting up of medical colleges is also very difficult as opposed to engineering colleges. And there is very interesting, just, I mean, I don't have any data as such, but it was very interesting. 10 years ago in DU, in before 2010, more than that, 15 years ago, students of Bihar used to come in large numbers to DU, okay? But that decreased. I think more students will have to invest twice in a coaching. They will decide to give up on the first coaching. So in engineering and all, I mean, then you have to do MBA. Similarly, if you are coming to universities, why heterogeneity has decreased in DU? Because why to invest twice? You will first crack this to be part of undergraduation, and then you will do another coaching to be part of the workforce. I mean, either a bank exam or constable exam or this exam or that exam, civil services exam. So parents will can only invest once, not twice. So I think therefore things are becoming very difficult. Yeah. See, on this digitalization also, if you really look, this is part of NEP. You have to remember that when it will come to white collar jobs, when it will come to higher up jobs, it is students of regular stream which take away those jobs. Okay, while distance learning and therefore digital education is an integral part of open learning, but can become our part also. But what I'm saying is that education is in a society. This COVID situation showed how disparity exists in the whole society, and everybody did not benefit through the during COVID time. So, excess weightage on digital and actually integrating digital with the regular stream is a very bad idea. The idea is that the governments cannot escape investment in education. Our investment in education is very bad. It's, I mean, many more countries, smaller countries are investing more. So you cannot, we will go completely wrong if when we are a young country, we are not increasing the number of school and colleges, when we are not making people regular. You know what government's NEP says, merger of schools. Okay, and mergers of school is happening everywhere in the name of consolidation. First, it was government policy to say that if there are less than 60 students, then one teacher will teach from class 1 to whatever. Okay, and now they are saying we will merge the schools. A colleague had come from Manipur to talk about this. She said there a student has to cross a stream to go to a school. If you will further the school, the student will never go. What will happen to women education? You know, it is very interesting. This whole thing of digitalization or open schools where families think that, you know, you can do online, you can do whatever. This means the families are not going to give time to these people. Okay. And women education and many other education is about learning and unlearning. Unless the student is pulled out of its conditioner space, which conditions them so badly, which means homes. All of you are living, maybe you are not from Madras, you have come to IIT Madras and you have joined across the country. People come in. You understand how your education would have suffered if you would have lived at home. How you broke so many conditioning. You are a different person from what you were when you were living with a family which had set ideas. So, education is all about this. Digital education can be part of can become like a resource. It can become a rich library for anybody to access, but it cannot replace the regular thing. NEP says, for example, that a student in a regular course can earn 40% of its degree or 50% of credits from any other university online course. That is so that the government does not have to give you teachers. We have to read between the lines and to understand what they're really doing. JNU May students were fighting, resisting the government when the non-net fellowship was withdrawn. And the whole, in 2015, if you will Google, they were running a very important movement in 2015. And in 2016, this whole attack on JNU SU happened. Why? Because they were fighting the government on scholarship, on an important issue of scholarship. And when I went to various interviews, media interviews, they said, why a student should be staying for 8 years, 9 years doing PhD? Now, actually, it suits the government if you can change the composition, you can change of the student group by increasing fees. A particular set of students will come where many issues are not an issue. Okay, so many things will change if you change the composition by increasing the fees, and also your relationship with the teacher, relationship with the institution. More you have to stay in an institution, you will fight for its correction. More you will view yourself as a flowing river. You know, okay, just say for example, you go in a place and earlier public toilets were very bad, you know, but then you go for a toilet and you say, okay, I mean, who cares? You don't fight for that toilet to be right because you think that you will not use it again, but you will fight when you think that there is a connection, a relationship. So digital education replacing regular stream is not acceptable. More and more regular, there is no shortcut for the government. I'm also from the, we are very finding it very difficult how state governments are agreeing for 4 year undergraduate program without investing in the fourth year by saying that you can do online courses. You are giving choice to the student, and then instead of providing teachers for that choice, you are telling them that they can do online course. So this is what I said. We all, the entire population of student and teachers became corrupt during COVID, because before we got question papers, sometimes answers were WhatsApp between students. So online education will have its own problem. How will you monitor exam? What will happen? So these are easy credits. If the students are viewing their degree in the order of how they can earn easy credits, I've been working with student groups in Delhi University, and I used to tell them, let us have a movement, class bharo andolan, because in many colleges it is well known that there is a corruption. Students and teachers, there is a symbiotic relationship, and you get marks. Teachers will not take class, but they will give you marks and you will get your degrees. But because of that, you never know, you never experience that how one teacher can change your life. Neither teachers nor student can view the whole system critically. So I don't think so digital is the way. The real way is in the investment, is choosing the field to invest. And I think the government has money, it does not have the will. Because all government, if you will look at the ministers, from engineering colleges to coaching centers, and also now paper leak, if they have their hands in those industries, then this is a conflict of interest. And on the policy document, while these things may read very nice that we are doing this, these are the alternate ways, finally, your education is in the society. When you come to IIT, or when student comes to DU and participates in many debates and discussions, goes for extracurricular activities, learns how to communicate with people coming from other places, that is the enrichment which you all should be available to many more. Okay, the state of schools, this is beyond our imagination. I mean, I had gone many years ago to Haryana union, teachers union, and they said that after class 8, many students, female students, there is a accelerated dropout in women population after class 8, because once periods and all this start, and there is only one toilet which is in bad shape, which the teacher puts on lock, and the students have to go to field. The parents do not get the sense of security, and all of this is there, and they withdraw. Now this is how we are cheating youth. We are cheating youth in doing all of this. The government should stop it, and we should not agree to what the government advertise as a way out. The real way out is what is coming from your experience as a student and my experience as a teacher, and this means that classroom has to be preserved. Just imagine, I'm talking to all of you, I'm not able to see your faces. This is what happened in online teaching. I was teaching, okay, couple of students were very smart. They are students who always want to talk, okay, want to show that they are doing the best. So in the whole class, one or two students would put their mic on and say something. Others became blank faces. Whereas in the classroom, when I say a sentence, I look across, not only to those students who want to raise their hands very quickly to something, but also students who have question mark on their face or who are looking lost. And as a teacher, as a performer, I have an attempt to draw them to the class, and I try to, I'm not saying that they are not casteist teachers, or sometimes on the basis of gender and caste, or region and religion, students are not mistreated, many lives are lost, but many lives are also made because there is a large number of teachers trying to make classrooms as equal spaces. So you are taking away all of that when you are trying to say that regular can be done with digital. Digital online education is one of the thrust area of NEP, and we as teachers we all oppose it, because if you are saying that regular stream and there can be a blended mode, half the credits can come from online courses. This means that you are breaking the relationship which a student has with the institution and with the teacher, and therefore you will never ask for any correction of the institution. It will not matter to you whether bath toilets are right, fine or not, whether laboratories have instruments or not, because you will think बाकी सब तो ऑनलाइन से करेंगे, ग्रेड ए आएगा. ये करके ये धोखा है. I feel like that. Absolutely. NEP became very big way. In fact, if we had a conference of FedQuota, which is the Central Universities Union, and teachers said how research topics are being decided by, keeping all this in mind. Then there is value addition courses, Indian ness you have to teach, glorify India's ancient India and all of that, how NCRT books are being changed. So we are in many, many ways constructing a new society. It is very interesting. My son was in class 8th, and I looked at I was reading through their class 8th book, and it was talking about Valmiki experience of a Dalit child, and then experience of Muslims. And then there was a very interesting question. You are a Muslim, you have moved into a neighborhood, whether you will change your name or not. And then there were instructions for the teachers. The instruction was that you will not give marks for yes or no. You will have to understand from where the child is speaking, why they are saying something. Now, whereas a Hindu, especially a boy, may say that I will not change name because you have never experienced harassment. That may not be the experience of a Muslim boy who will say, yes, I will change my name because they've heard stories how their cousins had to go to Ahmedabad and change their names and live. Or it may also be a Muslim boy coming from a lower strata, how their mothers were and they work as maids in various households, change their name and wear sari so that they can get jobs. So, we had very progressive books which showed that there are discriminations and we have to bridge this. Today, there is a rewriting of everything. In terms of policy, also Manusmriti is being implemented. As I've told you, how centralized examination have taken away from women first. And more you are marginalized, more you will be away from the mainstream. That is the attempt. That is how you will bring in Manusmriti. Okay, implement it. There will be a stratification because it has worried people that women are taking top positions, that Dalit literature is being introduced in colleges and university, that they will celebrate things differently because it is always who will write, who has the pen in the hand has the power. And texts have been written for so many years by certain sections. And now when Dalit students are becoming teachers, and women are becoming teachers, the environment of things are changing, and this can only be restored back in the sense of the upper this through education policy which will kill people, and you will not be able to blame anyone because the education policy will stratify and leave out certain people completely out of the ambit of education. So it is Manusmriti implementation in that way, in terms of policy. Absolutely. So, for example, Mughal history has been completely removed. There are some 900 years which have been completely removed. Now, the thing is that then a student will only believe in the WhatsApp which is forwarded to them, that there is no sense of how, actually one king may not be very different from another, that Hindu kings also used to break temples of other Hindu kings. Nothing of this kind will be taught. Mahatma Gandhi will not be taught. Hana? Mahatma Gandhi will only be reduced to Swachhta Abhiyan. That you will not say that in 2002 it was anti-Muslim riots. So sensitivity of the community of the society will be lowered, but this is like a making of a new kind of society, new kind of citizenship is being created, and we have to fight. The good thing is that India bloc, we were able to push back, and this time, if I don't know whether you have been hearing debates in the parliament, it's very good. That gives us hope. And while I mean, if things would have changed completely, it would have been good, but okay, it is a process, and I hope that things become better. Yeah, yeah. See, thankfully, IITs have now humanities, social science departments, but they're very few. I think the way I told you now, the science is done in particular manner and which is very, very exclusionary. So number of in IITs, number of people from upper class, upper caste, you will see that it is dominated by all of that. I mean, I think in terms of teachers, especially, that culture can only change slowly and slowly. The other thing is that in my own experience of JNU is different. Then comes DU. In DU, my experience of 15 years of movement, 20 years of movement is that it is very interesting. As I said, we are making human beings when we are teaching them. So for every teachers movement which we had, the first ones to break the strike were from sciences. Okay, this is very interesting because I am also a science person, and then I could one my vocabulary changed because I was in the left teachers organization and talking and all of that grants for their lab work, and students who have been students of such a culture. For example, science student. As a science student, I don't know how many of you are science students. If you can raise hands, how much discussion, social discussions you were allowed at home? Okay, or a science student who comes home and then goes to coaching, comes back, sleeps a little, then again is studying. How much they care about the society around? So there is no discussion. The other thing which happens is that even when there was no centralized exam, there was this fear that science teachers have too much marks in hand. They will give internal exam. There will be practical exams. The same fear goes on till you do your PhD because you are dependent on that lab. So that becomes part of you. The pedagogy, that whole way of learning, the way the culture of that place becomes part of it. And the moment there is a pressure, the science teachers break first, the last ones to break. So in physics, the theoretical physicists, they depend only on a laptop, so they don't care so much. But in humanities, social science, English, economics, history are the last ones to break. Hindi again is a huge number of people who come from marginalized North Belt. Students coming from poor families often opt for doing pol science, history, Hindi, so they have their own culture. But it was economics, English, history teachers who stood firm because this is also the way they have taught literature by questioning. So IITs, the culture, the support you will get from your teachers, that is a very big, it is, I mean, there are too many angles in that. This is an unfortunate part that there are too many angles, their own training, their how dependent they are on the government and also on the administration for extra room for the lab. All of this becomes an important marker for them. But what is important and what is interesting is solidarities across the institutions. So yes, while it may happen that you will not get solidarity easily from your professors, it may happen. Sometimes you may get, but many times you will not. There can be solidarities across ITs, or you can also, for example, when in the film institute there was a crisis and director was put and all of that, students across the country reacted to it. So I think it is important to view yourself not as a, I mean, to give courage to self. It is important to view ourselves as part of a larger family which is across the country, and of students, and of course of teachers who are ready to be part of the movement. And contractualization of teachers is another thing which will not allow them to form unions and keep negotiating for self. Yeah, we can end the meeting. Yeah, thanks. Okay, thanks.